Welcome to the spagirlspodcast, the self-publishing podcast for authors. You're in the right place for the best writing, marketing, and publishing advice, plus interviews with industry experts and best-selling authors. I'm Cheryl Phipps.
I'm Shah Barrett.
I'm Wendy Vella.
And I'm Trudy J. Welcome to the spa, ladies.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Hopefully I can talk better.
I'm not going to lie, there might be a little bit of laughter today. We're all in a very silly mood.
A bit giggly, sorry about that.
Giggly.
Yeah,
It happens.
We're excited because it's conference next.
Yeah, we're going to see each other next week.
Yay.
Yeah.
In person.
I know. We've got to socialise, which is always scary to me, but
we might
okay.
just stay in the room, open
Yeah.
2 bottles of wine and stick a straw in the end and we'll be away.
Well,
I'm the only drinker. You guys.
No.
I drink. I'm needing alcohol at the moment. Anyway,
Enough of
go,
that.
Troodles.
Okay, so this week we actually do have a topic. It's just us, but
Yeah.
we do have a topic, and it's how to get reviews and how to manage and build an ARC team. So
Mhm.
we get lots of questions about reviews and how
We
to get
do.
them,
Yes.
and
Yes.
what you need to.
Wendy, Trudy and I just did a workshop a couple of weekends ago, and it was quite a topic, really. And then also I've noticed it in some reader groups as well. People are asking about them. And I guess when you've been doing a little while, you kind of take it for granted, right, that you've got your team, but actually we all had to start from somewhere, which is zero. Everybody started from
And I
zero.
remember us all talking about where we're going to get them from.
How do you get them? And it was almost a panic because you can't
Yeah.
pluck them out of fresh air.
Yeah.
You have to have a system in place, and that starts really early on, I think. And I can't think of a better way to get started than your newsletter, because we've talked about doing that before you even have a book out. And once you have a newsletter, you've already got a contact with people, and obviously you've got to build that up first. But as soon as you do, I think that's a really good place to start. Is that where you guys started?
Yeah. I think, and it's when you're first starting, the other thing is it's like, oh no, I haven't got a newsletter, or I'm going to have one person on my newsletter. But it's just, you've got to start somewhere, and it will build, it will snowball, you will get more. Don't stress about it, but just start it and get it going and get it moving. And then once you've got a few people on your newsletter, then you can say to them, hey, you want to review my book? That'd be nice.
Absolutely.
I can give it to you for free.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I remember actually I've still got some of my ARC team who were people that sent me emails very early on in my writing career, who had issues with some of the issues in my book, like spelling or using something wrong. And I went straight back to them and I said, would you become an ARC reader? And they were quite happy to. And I've still got a handful of them, however many years later.
Which is
So we should talk about the differences.
It's a smart way to turn someone who is potentially feeling antagonistic towards you into a super fan, because
Absolutely.
Kind of
depending on the level of crazy in the initial email, just saying.
But they're invested, right?
I don't think you can play down that level of contact, really. I don't, once you have a rapport with somebody, it does just go on. I mean, I really love it, actually. And a few of them that I've got close to, as you can, with emails backwards and forwards, and you know things about them, right? And you can discuss other things if you want to, if you have the time.
They're invested.
Yeah.
They're invested in your book.
So maybe we could start though and just kind of talk about what the terms mean. So if anybody's new to this, what is an ARC, an ARC, and what is an ARC reader?
Yeah.
Are you going to go with that, Shah?
Yeah, maybe you could.
Well, ARC, the initials ARC stand for Advanced Reader Copy, or Advanced Review Copy. I've seen both versions, but it basically means it's an unpublished but publishable ready. In other words, it's gone through its final edits. Copy of your book that you give out to folk for free, and hope, you can't make them, but you hope that they will give you a review for when the book launches. And so the ideal is that you get sort of maybe 5 to 10 reviews in that initial 24 hours on the various retailers or Amazon, if you're Amazon exclusive, for your book. That's kind of what it is.
More than 5 to 10 if you've got a decent ARC team.
Oh no, it is. But I'm talking if you're starting out, that would be awesome. That would be really awesome.
Those advanced readers will come back with issues. you know, before the book is published, if they go,
so you
if
can
it goes
tweak
out
the
early
book.
enough.
Because you never find everything. Even the best editors in the world don't find everything.
They'll come in and they'll go,
an ARC reader will.
Exactly.
And the other thing I was going to say is that I don't do it, and I don't think any of you guys do it either, but I have heard of people running their ARC teams, and it was such a way that they're like, if you don't give me a review, I'm not going to give you the next book. So there's some people out there who are it's not just hoping they give a review, but the expectation is that if I give you my book for free, I will get a review out of it. And if it doesn't happen this book, then you don't get the next book. So it doesn't have to be, I don't know if I
think it depends on the popularity of the author. Some of them, some really popular authors, and I'm talking like best-selling authors have a large team, and I've never seen it if they don't do one review, but I've seen it if they consistently don't review. I think it's fair enough to kind of take them off the list, because there is a cost to everything. Now it doesn't cost you as an author to send to give them a free copy. It's a digital copy. It's not a posted copy now. These days, thank goodness. But there is a cost of managing it, you know, and there is a cost of maintaining, you know, of doing all of that. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. So I think it's fair enough. But what you can't do is make it a, anyway, no, sorry, I'm getting lost down the track. You can't stand on their doorstep with a large stick and beat them over the head.
No.
However, if you were consistently getting really a bad review from one reviewer, A, why are they reading your books?
Exactly.
But B, you have all the power. So you don't
take them off your tape.
Conversation about it. You just don't send them the next arc. It's simple. It's simple. It might sound harsh, but actually you don't want somebody that's reading a book that they don't particularly like, don't like your genre, don't like you, whatever reason they're doing it for, you don't need that. So,
So where else can we find ARC readers if we're talking about ARCs? I mean, I remember going into my Facebook page. I didn't have a group then. And I remember going in and posting and saying, would anyone like to become an ARC reader for me? And you know, I think that's a good way to do it, because people will come in yes or no underneath, and you can message them. And I've still, again, got ARC readers that I had from those early days when I didn't have a reader group, and I just did it through Facebook.
And they're the best ones, right? Because they already like you. That's why they're there.
Exactly.
And they obviously like your work. So they are going to be a little bit more generous with their reviews, hopefully, but also honest.
And invested again. They're invested in your work because they love it. They want it to be the best version it can be. And I think they love being part of that process. They're invested. They feel like they're really in deep, and they'll say, oh, well, this is not right. That's not right, and it's great. And sometimes you don't take it all on board, but some of it's very justifiable.
So just to clarify, when they're saying that tonight, we're talking about typos and maybe character names, not talking plot points, because
unless there's an issue, they'll come back with it.
If there's a big issue that nobody picked up on. Cool.
Okay.
I've had that definitely.
Wow.
Had that. Spent thousands on editors and then had a major issue.
Isn't that just a killer?
You forgot to resolve this issue.
This wee plot point that needed to resolve.
And then you never talked about it again. Oh yeah, that's right.
The family dog breed changed from chapter 1 to chapter 10.
Things happen.
Names changing names.
I've done that before.
Eye colour.
And it's something to get that perspective of a reader to come in.
We're too close sometimes.
Sorry?
We're too close sometimes. So
to the work,
someone coming in,
it is always easier to look at someone else's rather than your own work, I reckon.
I will say that if it's a real dog's breakfast and you're getting heaps of stuff coming from your ARC reviewers, you need to look at your editor. Seriously, if it's that bad, if it's consistently that bad, then something's not right.
You're paying for something that you're not getting. Another popular way, I think, of getting out when you're starting out is it could be to ask author friends, particularly if they're in your same genre, if they would mind sharing, your offer to, or your request to looking for ARC readers. That's another one, to sort of reach out to fellow writers. whether it's on social media or through their newsletter. That's another good way.
That's a tricky one. I think most authors would guard their lists quite
I'm not saying there, but particularly if they've got a reader group, they might say,
absolutely.
Pop into my reader group and say, I'm looking for ARC readers. Absolutely. Some
readers are just ARC readers.
Because I'm just thinking of someone just starting out, they've just put their first book up and they're like, I've got 10 people on my newsletter. I've got 5 people looking at my Facebook page. Like I can't find people. So what do we do then? Like, how do you get people reading your book when you're just that new?
Well, that kind of moves on, I think, onto the sort of the second part of the podcast, which is getting reviews, because a lot of those initial reviewers might then join your ARC team if they really like your book. So that could be a way of doing it.
I was more thinking places like Booksprout and Hidden Gems, and they're kind of reviews though, aren't they? There are there other places like that we've ever gone? Have you gone to
I think
other services that can do
for reviews, yes, but not for ARC readers. ARC readers is very personal.
I feel like it's a relationship that grows, right?
Working on that newsletter, building that newsletter, and getting as many people as you can on there who are invested in you is a great way, and then putting it out who wants to be an ARC, that sort of thing. I think that's how you grow. I mean, we've all grown from small to where we are now. And we were just emailing ourselves randomly to them. I mean, I do it through BookFunnel now. I think Cher does too. I don't know about you, Turtles, but so I think you just don't have huge expectations to start with, and slow building is the best, because you don't want to bring people on board who are just getting in for a free book. You want to bring people on board who are invested, so it's that growth, that organic growth, that is better.
And I think single digits is fine to start off with. When you're seeing authors that are getting, whether it's 50 or 500 reviews in the first week of publishing, that's different. You'll get there, but not when you're starting. So just go, honestly, every single digits is fine when you're starting.
Absolutely. And start with those two things for now. And that's Facebook and then newsletter.
If you've got some disposable income, then I actually really always would like to promote BookFunnel, because you do have to pay for it. I can't remember how much it is, but it'll be a couple of $100 a year, I suppose. And you can do promotions on there with a lead magnet, which is a small version of your writing, or even a book, as long as you've got more than one out, that you can give away for free or really, really cheap. And that will give you some people reviewing, because not everybody reviews, but a lot of people do. So the more eyes you get on the book, the more chances you have of getting more reviews. And that they are organic. You can't, you can send BookFunnel links with your book to your ARC reviewers and your reviewers. But this is something separate. This is like building promotions that build visibility.
So you're kind of like fishing, you're kind of like spreading your net out there kind of thing, as it were.
So so let's, as Shay was trying to do, move on to reviewers, and that's a slightly different thing, isn't it? That's like the ARC team is, you've got a relationship with them and it's a regular community almost, whereas the reviewers is just anyone out there who maybe might want to review your book. So do you do anything other than an ARC team for your reviews, you guys?
I personally don't anymore, because I haven't
request reviews at the end of a book.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I have a link.
For sure. But sorry, I'm miles away in my head there. But no, I've got such a big ARC team now, I don't worry about it.
How many on your ARC team, just out of curiosity?
I don't know. 70 maybe? No, I can't. I don't know, to be honest. That's enough
I remember Elena Johnson, I think it was, talking about her ARC team being in the hundreds, maybe even thousands. And she was definitely someone who didn't expect people to review every book, and she just sent it out to that many people and then got. But that's a whole. I mean, is that something?
I mean, no. I mean, I think for me, like, I think I had a release a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and I'm probably close to 500 reviews now on Amazon, or 400 and something. So for me, 59, 60, 69, 70, whatever arcs is enough, and the rest will review anyway.
Yeah. Because you put the book up for pre-order probably, so they've already bought the book, they're already invested in the product, they're going to read it and they're going to review.
That's
and often,
another question I have.
It's kind of
sorry to interrupt you. Do your ARC team buy the book as well, or do you? Yeah, they'll often buy it as well. Yeah. That's another level of commitment, right? Like
I can't say they all do. That would be.
I don't think many of mine would. Some might, but
some of them do. So some of them, I don't know for sure. Some
they don't have to, but a lot of people that are they're real genuine fans and they want to support the author, so they will buy the book, and often in different formats as well, which is a lovely thing.
Especially if you sent them the ebook, because then they might like to have it in print.
That's true.
They're collecting them then,
And I just wanted to put a little rider in here that just because an author has 50 or 100 or 500 members on their ARC team doesn't mean that they're going to all review at that time. Life happens for all of us, and some people with the best of intentions post or they might post, a month later or whatever, depending on their life circumstances. So the numbers don't always line up, kind of thing, is what I'm saying.
Reviews, so you can pay for services to accessories, but of course you've got to go through reputable sites.
We're not talking about paid reviews. That's going to Fiverr and getting 10 5-star. No, don't do that. We're not saying that. That's absolutely not what we're saying.
No.
What you're paying for is access through a service that gives you access to reviewers, as Wendy said. That's the difference.
Yeah.
And Amazon will not take kindly to you paying for reviews.
No.
They have your friends and family all sitting at home. They're all going to be using the same IP that will flag Amazon's algorithms, and they will close you down. They'll close down your account. So you don't.
And often they can't review them either anyway, can they?
No.
And
actually, Amazon actually has a thing where purchasers of books have to spend $50 in a month for them to be able to post reviews.
A month or a year?
So,
it's a year.
It might be a year. Sorry,
Yeah.
I do.
That's it. Yeah.
So that some people will say, "Oh, I couldn't post my review." There could be several reasons why that didn't happen. Could just be Amazon being silly, but there are actually legitimate reviews. Out there that they've taken down because of where they've come from.
And I think as business people that we the onus is on us actually to read the terms of the different retailers that we're selling our books on. So we're talking review manipulation here, so don't do it. Anything that seems too good to be true, or anything that's guaranteed, or anybody selling, don't go there. But what we're talking about is something entirely different, and these are all services that you guys have all used, right? Which are the
payments for the service access.
I've used Booksprout before.
I've used Booksprout.
Story Origin does it?
Yes.
Is that the right name?
I think so.
I haven't used them in a while. Hidden Gems.
There's NetGalley as well, which tends to, back in the day, it was the home of traditional publishers for a review site, potential reviewers and bloggers.
It's quite expensive,
but it's very expensive.
Books, I think, too.
Okay.
Crave Books, but actually we haven't spoken about Goodreads either. And of course, if you get yourself a profile on Goodreads, and your books go up very often, people will review them, and just out of the blue. So you can do promotions on there where you can give away 100 ebooks for, I think it's about $109 US. It's just for a promotion, but that can last for a month, and that is legitimate with Amazon, that you're giving away a free e-copy to 100 reviewers. Can be less, obviously, or you can do it for print, which is you have to bear the cost of that one, because it's quite hefty. I think it's about $400 or $500 in the US.
Goodreads is owned by Amazon. So the reviews will come across. Is that correct?
And I think it's, if you look on your Amazon dashboard, when you see how many reviews your book has, underneath you'll also see how many reviews your Goodreads reviews have on Goodreads.
Yeah, Goodreads traditionally tend to be the reviews are not as high, isn't it?
Yeah.
The way you read it. Yeah.
Yes.
A little bit harsher.
They
A
are
little
bit
bit
harsher.
A lot of authors don't like Goodreads and don't spend a lot of time in there. I don't mind it too much. I don't have too many dramas in there, but those what Cher was talking about doing those giveaways is great.
Yeah,
it's really good.
You did those, didn't you, Wendy? I remember you doing
I did.
those.
And if you get, say, 1,000 people or however many people, as soon as that book's released, an email's sent out to them to say that book has been released. So anyone who makes contact with that competition or anything like that, they get an email.
Yeah, because you're saying that you're giving away 100 books, but actually everybody can enter.
Yeah,
so you can have thousands of entries,
and they all get an audit.
And they download it to the to be read file.
Yeah.
And then apply for the free book. But the book automatically pops up to say this is out now if you want it. You know.
So what have you guys done? Tell me what have you actually done on Goodreads? Have you done the ebook giveaway? Have you done the?
I've done both.
You've done print, haven't you?
Print and ebook, yeah.
Find the print one a bit pricey for me, but the ebook one certainly,
Like everything, it's gone up over the years, though, right? It never used to be that amount.
Have you ever approached a reviewer like that? You gotten anyone on your art team for your Goodreads?
Yeah, because one day I mistakenly did not update the book in time. I had the Goodreads giveaway ending 2 days before the book was being published. Don't ever do that. So it hadn't caught up with me loading the final copy onto Amazon.
Oh, I see. So they all got the previous version.
The previous one, which wasn't good. And I had a couple of bad reviews, but one woman particularly said something, that was horrible. So I went on and I said to her, I'm so sorry this happened.
How could you access her?
Because you could just reply to their comment.
I understand.
So I just apologized profusely and I said, I appreciate your review. It's but I'd like to send you the proper copy,
final copy,
if that was okay. And then she messaged me back and she said, "Oh, thank you so much for contacting me." She said, "I will read the book and adjust my review."
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And whether she did or not, I never checked up on it. But I actually did it to her personally, but I actually did it to the whole competition.
Yeah.
And I don't think the book may have suffered a little bit, but I think hopefully I nipped it in the bud before it, because I immediately realized my mistake as soon as she came through, because she must have read it straight away and posted her review. So I don't think it's something that you want to do ad hoc with them. I think you just want to leave them alone. But this was too important to me. I mean, for a start, it was a launch, and I had paid a lot for the, because especially in New Zealand, that's worth a lot of money to us.
So the moral of the story is finish the giveaway.
Yes, after
the book is published.
Right. Just even a day, and then you'll know that all the copies are synced. And
right. Yeah. Good to know. See, I didn't know that, so that's good to know.
Do they still do that on Amazon, where you can put up a early file as a placeholder, and then that before you put in the final file? I thought that you didn't have to do that anymore.
You can do that on Amazon, and because you've still got your 72 hours, I think, before it comes out to change it. But you can't do it on, I'm going to say, Google Play, or it might be Kobo. One of them, it has to be a finished file. You can't, Draft to Digital, you can't put a placeholder. Right. It has to be a file. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, I would, like Shah said, do your checking to make sure what you can do. Well, actually, they'll tell you that you can't.
Yeah.
So,
We've all made the mistakes, though, right? And that's another point I want to just hammer home here. We've been at it for years, and I've put the wrong book up with a different cover.
Yeah.
I think you've done that, Triddles, too, haven't you?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
I've done that on a print book, done that on a, Luckily, my cousin picked it up and read, and she said, "I think this is wrong." So it's like, yay. So what I'm saying is the mistakes are there to be made, and because we're self-published, we can fix them pretty damn quickly.
That's it. That's a beauty.
And name your files. Check your file as it's loaded. You'll see a date and a time on your files when you load them on all the platforms. Just check everything.
And then check it again.
Yeah, and then check your links.
Yeah. But also don't beat yourself up, because everybody makes mistakes and they're recoverable.
That's so annoying. But
so back to reviews. If we're gonna, one thing I wanted to mention, like if you're asking, so you want to get reviews, you want people to review your book, remember to ask for it. Remember to put it at the bottom of your emails. Remember to put it on Facebook. Like do a repeating post on Facebook saying, read my books, do a review, help the author out kind of thing. Ask for it everywhere.
Don't
ask for it on
shy about that.
And it also feels counterintuitive, I know, to give away your book that you've just spent all that time on, but honestly it will come back to you. It will reviews are important. Social proof is important.
We tend to be a little socially awkward as authors. And we struggle a little bit with putting ourselves out there and asking for it, but you've got to. Unfortunately, you're your own publishing house. You need to push your books, it's the only way. And as I say, proof is in the pudding. That's what we've been doing, and we've got now a full ARC team,
So I think we're talking about asking, and continue to ask. No, once the book's out, it's not just about a launch thing, it's continuing to ask in your newsletter and on social media. I would also say make sure in the back of your book that you're saying, if you really appreciate, if you like and enjoy this book, let other people help find it on Amazon.
Brilliant.
By leaving a review.
And the wording's important. The wording is really important, right? I think it's really important that you're not begging, you're not, you're just being straight and to the point. People appreciate that, like I think, saying something like, I've got 20 spots open for an honest review of my book, boom, for an ARC. That sort of thing. Just keep, for an ARC team, and just keeping it straight and short to the point. Would you like to read my book for free and review it? Something like that.
And that also creates a little bit of urgency as well. It's like, only 20 spots, I better get in now. And then you're not waiting around for weeks to find out if you actually have 20 people.
But not everyone's going to want the responsibility of being part of it.
No, absolutely.
So there's also just, hey, if you enjoyed my book, I'd love it if you'd review it. It's important to me. It's helpful to others. Go to it,
And don't be upset by the star. Like one or two is gonna hurt deeply, but 3 stars are good. Okay,
that's
3 stars are okay.
I was looking through the stars on a book the other day, and it was like 3 stars, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is a good book. I really enjoyed it." Like,
that's it, right?
Stars, man.
I know. Yeah. And some people I've seen a lot of people say they will never give a 5 out of 5 star review because there's no such thing as a perfect book. It's people's perception and how they grade things. So it's very difficult, I know, to not take it personally when somebody's raves about it. And the other thing that people do, sometimes they get a little confused and think 1 star is perfect. And I've seen that as well, that this is the best book I've ever read, 1 star. So,
I think it's important. I think it's important to get an average of stars too.
Agreed.
Your ARCs come in and usually they love them or whatever, and they're all 4.5, 5 stars, and that's great. But that you can get a 1. If someone's just rating you, I get people just rating it and not even reviewing it, and they're 1 just for the hell of it because they don't like you as a person or an author or whatever. So that's okay too because it averages out. Okay. All reviews.
And I think there's something, I look at it. If I see a 5-star, like it's all 5, they've got a 5-star thing, I'm like, well, that's suspicious. It's actually, I don't really think that that's real. It would make me start to think that they kind of, I don't know, paid for reviews or something. Like, so actually it is.
I agree. It doesn't look
so good. Not a.
And the reviews also offer you something else, and that's if there's a trend that something's wrong in the book. You can see what's going on, that's why if you don't want to read them yourself, get someone else to read them.
I think that's a good
on your behalf.
You don't have to take it all on board, but if everybody's saying the same thing, it'll be a little flag.
Yep.
So I'm just wondering if we can just quickly get on to ARC management, team management for when you're starting out. So I helped Wendy right at the start, and initially I kept a spreadsheet of the name of the reviewer, their email address. Back in the day, there was a different ebook file for a Kindle than it was other devices and that kind of thing, and what their preferred genre was, whether they're a historical reader or a contemporary reader or both. And that worked initially, and then once you get a few more than 20 people, then you need to usually go to your mailing list provider, so your newsletter provider, so whether you're on MailChimp or MailerLite, and start a separate list for those people, and it's easier to. But initially I was emailing those people directly. They had, with their permission, and that, whilst extremely time consuming, I feel like that one-on-one contact really built some really loyal people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but I think the key is, it's not just about getting the book to them, but it's also the follow-up. And so again, you set your expectations for them. You cannot say you have to give it 5 stars. You cannot say you have to provide a review. You would welcome a review within the first week of publication. It's all in the wording, right? You're welcome, but you understand life gets in the way, so please let me know, And often I would have people emailing and saying, I've twisted my ankle or whatever. That's fine. Life happens to all of us. But make it easy for them to leave a review. So if you're wide, make sure that you give a link to the book on all the different sites. Don't expect them to have to go hunting for it, and I've seen a lot of authors really put a lot of these people effectively are doing you a favor. So yes, you've given them a free book, but don't make it hard for them to leave a review. So make sure you give them a direct link to the book, particularly on Amazon.
I think also it's quite good to actually put up, like I've started doing, if you're going to do a print book, put a print book up a week before. And they'll start loading the reviews onto that, and that'll just share across to the Kindle.
And they can also put reviews on Goodreads earlier.
That's right, and BookBub, all of those. And then once the book goes live, you've already got reviews, and there's that social proof straight away. Boom, it's live. There's already reviews.
That's a good tip. So if you can do a print book, if not at the same time, ideally, but slightly beforehand.
Yeah, I usually put it up a week before.
And a lot of, again, when you're starting out, the chances of you selling a print book aren't going to be great. It's really just about having a place to for when the ebook. Most people will buy an ebook because of the price difference. And it makes the ebook
look a good price too.
Yeah, it does.
And I would make sure that you send the advanced copy 2 weeks prior to when you want the review, because they could be reviewing for other people, and they may have a schedule of when it happens. And I definitely know with my top reviewers, they have to fit me in. So if I give them 2 weeks notice, they might not read it till a couple of days before I need the review, but that's okay. As long as in that first week the review goes up. And as Shah said and Wendy said, it doesn't always happen, but often if you have created that rapport, they will get back to you. And I actually ask them to send me the link of their reviews. So I don't know that everybody would do that, but it just lets me know that they're doing it. I don't always check on them, but then I know if I don't hear from people that maybe they're not doing it. And I honestly believe if people haven't reviewed the last few books of mine, then I need to get somebody else to fill that spot. I don't.
Sorry, I was going to say sometimes you need to review your ARC team. We've just done a review of our ARC team, and then culled some out, and then just gone back into the reader group and got a whole lot of new ones. We need 10 spots. Boom, done.
If they don't feel that they need to repay you by putting up a review, then they're just getting a free book, and
And also people's lives change, and maybe they haven't got time to read. A lot of ARC readers that are reading a lot, I know that a lot of them will listen to the books, and it doesn't matter if you haven't got audio, they'll do the text to speech on their phone app or whatever. They're usually They're usually reading 1 or 2 books a day, which just blows my mind.
There does have to be accountability though too. They are getting a free book, and that's their job that you want them to review.
Absolutely. It's just a balance, right, of being understanding. And I think probably you're when you're starting out, you're probably going to give a little bit more leeway because it's it's harder. But then once you become a bit more established, and then you can set a little bit more clearer boundaries, kind of thing.
Good stuff.
So what happens if somebody posts a review and you've gone onto Amazon, you've gone against our advice and read your own reviews? What happens if there's a terrible, terrible review on there? What do you do?
2 things. You can do 2 things. You can look at it and say, fine, and ignore it. Or you can look at it and go, actually, this is not my book. Or you're being abusive, and you can report them. In most cases, I would say the first thing is what you do. You just ignore it, because people can say whatever they like, because that's their opinion. And
a really good thing to do is go and look at bad reviews on books you love.
I was just going to say that.
Honestly,
famous
I
books.
Look at, like books I love. Like I've gone and looked at books I've loved, books I've just finished that I think are the best books ever. I'll go and read them and go. People will be like, "Oh no, this was awful. Hated the characters. Didn't." Terrible plot line. And I'm like, are they insane? But that's, and that kind of helps, right? Like that's
it does.
Everybody gets them.
But it hurts. It hurts when you've got 5 reviews and one of them's like that. So we totally get that. When Cheryl's talking about reporting it, what that means is usually a click, a button under the review, particularly on Amazon. That doesn't mean that they're going to do anything about it. Like chances are they're not. You might feel a little bit better doing it, but we've all seen as a customer going on to Amazon and looking at the reviews, and there's a 1 star that I didn't download to my device. That's got nothing to do with the author. But what the customer is reviewing is their experience of reading that book. And if they can't read the book, most reviewers don't even think that it's going to impact the author in any way. And to a certain extent, reviews are for other readers. They're not actually for the author. They're not. So, but just there's actually, I think you need to accept that you can't do a lot at all, and just, I think, be at peace with it.
And my personal viewpoint is don't reply.
No,
definitely do not. Oh, we've all seen that happen.
I saw one on Goodreads where the author was getting angrier and fighting with the reviewer. And it just
cannot win. You cannot win that. You just come off looking bad.
You could be arguing with the worst person in the world and still look like a jerk. So don't do it.
Another point to make is that sometimes a bad review can actually be a good review. And I'm thinking of Cheryl one time got a review saying, just like a Hallmark movie or something. Awesome. Like it was a romance.
Exactly.
I will not read this book with blasphemy in it, or with
too many sex scenes.
Too many sex scenes. Excellent. That's a 5-star review right there.
Exactly. Exactly. And you can use it. I've seen authors turn it around and use it. Use it in their copy, their ads, or whatever. Same thing the other way around. Like this had no sex in it, and it's way too sweet. Will you use the way too sweet as so you can spin it around?
Just take a snap of that little bit of that
one thing to
statement.
Note, one thing I would note about that is it's obviously the wrong readers are getting access to your books, and that could be because you're doing some kind of either advertising to the wrong audience, or you've done sometimes it's you've done a big, like if you've got, like, for example, a book bub or something, big
a pre-book,
and it's gone out to a really wide
every man
audience,
and his dog,
and some of them are not your audience, and so if
and
you're
that happens.
A hardcore military sci-fi reader, and then you read a light-hearted space opera, you're going to hate it no matter whether.
But they've just seen it for free on the email newsletter that came in from BookBub, and they're going, "Oh, I'll get that." And it's not their sort of book, and that happens. But with BookBub,
so don't get stressed about that either.
No. Awesome.
I did actually get one. I did actually get one that wasn't my book. You could just tell by the blurb what they were writing. There was nothing that they said.
And then people make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So
of course.
I just let it go.
I just the reviews thing is that they're an amalgamation. Like don't look at one review and make that mean everything.
Yeah.
Look at all the reviews as a whole. Like I do this, right? So I'm speaking from experience. You'll get all these positive reviews, and then one person will say, "Oh, this character was weird."
Yeah.
And do you focus on all the positive reviews? No, you do
of
not.
course.
You go, well,
human nature, right?
Weird, and then I worry
why
about
didn't you like my book? Why?
What happened?
I say, why?
And then
don't you know how long I toiled over this? What the heck?
See,
but they're not doing it to be personal.
Can I change my whole book because for this one person? No.
So just look at and I do this often. I'll look in and I'll go, okay, oh my God, only 56% of people gave that book a 5-star, but then you add it to the 4-star and suddenly it's like 79%, and then you add it to the 3, actually then suddenly 94% of people are giving it a positive review. That's awesome. Like I
don't read my reviews at all.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to be fair, but
I can't. Occasionally I'll need if I want a 5-star or something or something, I'll go and look through them, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. Even the 5 stars, it's like pain. But I do.
Really? The 5 stars? You don't like the 5 stars?
I don't like any reviews. I'll read the occasional one, but
I think that's where
freaks me out a bit, just in case if I go into a 5-star and it actually says something bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
I think you protect yourself first, I'd say, on the subject of reviews. Look after yourself first.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we're going to put a couple of good resource links in the show notes. Couple of good blog posts on reviews and getting reviews, and also I'm going to put a link to our episode. It's a wee while ago now, but we did one with Alessandra Torre on Goodreads, and she's an author that really does well. When I say does well, manages Goodreads and uses it to sort of sees the best in Goodreads, let's put it that way. So I'll make sure that's in our show notes as well. So if you want to go to spagirlspodcast.com, it's there along with all our other 459 episodes.
Brilliant.
Gracious me.
I know, right?
God. We're rocking on for 500.
Yeah.
What are we going to do for 500?
It'll be big. It'll be epic.
Will it?
Might go for lunch.
Maybe we could have an episode with 50 guests.
There you go.
Like on it. That would be like, that might break Zoom, so maybe not.
All right. Okay. All right.
I think
awful. We can we'll move on.
We can invite all of our guests to New Zealand and have a big party.
Yeah.
Right.
That sounds good. Yeah. We'll stay at Trudy's.
Yeah. Stay at my house. It'll be fine.
Exactly.
Awesome.
All right. Cool.
Well,
talking of reviews, if you are listening to this and enjoying this, we would love a review on your podcast app, wherever you are. That would be super appreciated. Thank you so much, because it does help the algorithms suggest us to people that listen to self-publishing shows. So
post a comment on YouTube.
Yeah.
That would be awesome also.
We love that too. We love our YouTube comments.
Yeah, they're awesome. Or go watch us be idiots on YouTube.
Speak for yourself. We are refined women that,
professionals.
That's
it. Yeah. Nice.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you to everyone for listening to another episode of the Spa Girls podcast. We'll be back again next week with another episode. But for now,
farewell.
Bye.
Bye.